Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to Inspirate Business, where we're here to inspire, to empower, and to enlighten you. And we back, haven't had a show for a while, and I got a very interesting couple. We've never had a couple on our show. And we want to listen to their story. We want to understand, their dynamics. Somebody that's very dear to my heart, people that are family as well, and are doing amazing work serving the community, serving humanity. We welcome to the Inspirate Business Show none other than this, I would term, power couple, Zunaid Kotwal and Ruwaida Kotwal. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And as you see, the logos on their attire representing Khidmtaul Awaam. You guys are very active with Khidmtaul Awaam.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yes, Ruwaida, at the break you mentioned a term that I learned. You are the...
At the moment, I'm holding the position of Munadim,
Right.
which essentially means head of mission. So for Khidmtaul Awaam. There is an appointed Munadim for every operator from South Africa. And the primary job of a Munadim is then to be the liaison between SAHUK, the Hajj regulator, and the Ministry of Hajj. So this entails me having to go into the kingdom first and leaving last to ensure that every one of my Hujjaj leave the country and in a good condition. There's nobody hospitalized or anything other than that. And then obviously all the processes and logistics that go with being a Hajj operator is overseen then by myself.
No, excellent. And we're going to be speaking a lot more about what that entails and what Khidmtaul Awaam is doing. And now that Hajj season will be coming up soon, you guys, I guess, will be preparing for that. So we'll talk a lot about that. But as we do with each show, we want to understand, the background story of the two of you. I know Zunaid, I know you as, and many know you as an ex-MP, Member of Parliament. You were primarily, I think, at the time of Thabo Mbeki's presidency. I was very fortunate to be invited by Zunaid when he was an MP under Thabo Mbeki's presidency for my very first opening of Parliament. I recall going and attending with yourself, and we went to watch this. It was a very different time in South African politics. Yeah, so I think let's just understand, how did you, Zunaid, become an MP? That must have been quite a journey.
It was. Assalamu alaikum firstly to your viewers. It was an exciting, interesting journey. In fact, the family itself, my grandfather, your grandparents, were always actively involved in politics. So, we took it from there. And the two of us are actually from Piet Retief, small town in Mpumalanga. And I'm actually 10 years older than her. And the first time I told her I'm going to marry her is when she was 6 years old.
What a story, yeah?
And alhamdulillah, we married out together for 35 years
35 years.
We had our ups and downs. We lost a child, in fact, while I was an MP in the parliamentary village, Pelican Park. And we nearly separated. But Allah knows best. And today, alhamdulillah, we're a power couple, as you say. Okay, beginning about my story. I had a business in a small little village they call Ishwepi.
Outside Piet Retief?
Between Piet Retief and Amalo.
Okay.
It was known as a farm shop. Okay, around there, I had, on the one side, I had Mondi Forest, and in front of me I had private farmers. So I had both sides of the coin. And, when the ANC was unbanned in 1994, because the family was involved in politics, I'm a founding member of the ANC branch in Ishwepi.
Okay.
And the front branch is still functional today, and it's known as the Mzaifani branch of Mpumalanga. Okay, I was a founding member, but then things were normal. Things were quiet until the elections took place. When the elections took place and the farmers actually were gripped with the fear like our Indian community were gripped with the fear that the maids are going to take over the homes. The farmers were this thing that these farm workers and farm residents are going to take over the farms. So they started evicting the people, as is kicking them off overnight. Just coming to me, I don't want you on my farm, go to Mandela. And Mandela was myself. So they would come and dump them on my shops too. And these we're talking of the poorest of the poor. And because of that, I became more and more active and more visible in the community. And also, another fight that I took up of was, they were, because Pitutif is a predominantly forestry area, there's were a lot of subcontractors, people that were originally working for Mondi Forest. But because of labor laws and that, Mondi Forest sort of got rid of the responsibility and handed these people to previously white employees of Mondi. They said, look, here's 200 people, you handle them, we give you give them work to do, strip the trees, planting, agriculture, all those things. And then we pay you and you pay the staff. And it was sad to see people, I mean, these people were all my customers. And I could have ignored it and just looked the other way. But Allah made me different. In fact, we used to get people getting salaries of chappies, bubblegum, in the envelopes. And I took on the fight for them, and as well the eviction. And Ruwaida served as my secretary on my branch of the ANC in Israel.
So you were also very actively involved.
Yeah.
Both of us were actively involved. And Alhamdulillah, today, as you said, we involved with Khidmtaul Awaam.
So through that constituent,
Yeah.
they voted you
They've
into becoming an MP. Is that how it works?
obviously, the ANC, within the ANC, has got its own democratic
Processes, yeah.
You've got to be nominated by a certain number of branches.
Right.
Then that goes to a regional conference where people from the region vote for you. And then it goes to a provincial list conference and then the list it's a very democratic process, I must say. So, I mean, that's the way up. And then, all right, initially, before an MP, I was a local government councillor.
Okay.
And, all right, I was like a local government councillor of a rural area. Those days, there were no council in the rural areas. The magisterial district of a town ended within the town. But because when the ANC came in, they decided to say, look, the rural people also need a voice.
So that's where they expanded to various districts as well. Yes. You had the district council.
They expanded the local municipality to include it. But before that, obviously, they established this TRCs, they call Transitional Representative Council, to stand on their own. And they later merged into the town. So now today you've got one municipality that covers the whole magisterial district of the town. So I served there for about 4 years. And then obviously from there I represented, because I was chairperson of my council, it was like a position of the mayor. So I represented my council on the district council, as you mentioned. And those days it was called the Eastval District Council. Today it's known as the Khidmtaul District Council.
Okay.
Those days it was based in Secunda, but now it's got a more central position in Ermelo. So that's, and then I also served on Logam. That's the Local Government Association of Mpumalanga. That's, I mean, all the municipalities get together and they elect an executive to represent the province on Salga. So that's how it went. And then eventually in 1999, I was deployed by the ANC to go to Parliament.
So that's when you then moved to Cape Town.
To Cape Town, the two of
And
us.
you stayed at the parliamentary village.
There's 3 parliamentary villages: Pelican Park, Laboria Park, and Acacia. We opted to live in Pelican Park, although it was the smallest of the villages. It was more in a predominantly Muslim area. So we could hear the azan, and that's why we decided to live there. And we were different in the sense to say, I was one of the very few MPs that came with the family to Cape Town. The rest of the MPs lived alone in the villages and went weekends home.
Okay, so
I lived
that's where you guys, your bond got even closer
even
because you
closer.
came in at where you said you lost a child. That was your firstborn.
No, my second.
Second one. Also, you
Hussein
had,
is my first. He's
Okay.
35,
All right.
34 now.
34.
34 now. And my Muhammad was born 10 years later in Cape Town.
Oh, okay.
And he passed away in the village.
All right.
But Allah knows best.
Allah knows best. Yes.
And like I said earlier, we went through a very difficult period. But one day I was outside and Allah put it in my head to say, you lost one child. Do you want to lose your family? And alhamdulillah, I came back and
No, alhamdulillah, this is so beautiful. We're coming toward the end of this first segment so fast. But I think what's very interesting, I remember, and this is what made you very unique. When we used to watch parliamentary TV, you very, very fluent in the local vernacular.
Yes.
Correct?
look, I mean, I ran a business in a rural area.
Yeah.
My customers were all, like as you refer to, black African. And so, I mean, I had to speak the language. So I didn't speak the language, I lived the language. So alhamdulillah, even when I got to parliament, my maiden speech was in Zulu.
Oh, yes, that was the unique thing. You would give all your speeches in
Zulu.
in Zulu.
Because, I mean, I represented a constituency. I was not elected by whites or Indians. I was elected by my branch. I was the only Indian person in the branch, and obviously she was secretary of the branch. And
yeah, so okay, we've come to the, sorry to interrupt you, but we've come to the end of this segment. A very, very intriguing story of this power couple, Zunaid and Ruwaida Kotwal. As we get back after the break, let's explore further their story. Welcome back to Inspirate Business. And on our red hot couch, sponsored by Aza Collective, we have this power couple, Zunaid Kotwal and Ruwaida Kotwal. And we were hearing Zunaid's story, their story actually, around growing up in Piet Retief. He said he believed he was going to get married to Ruwaida at the age of 6. That's so beautiful. It shows how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepted that dua of yours.
Allah's been very kind to me. Shukra.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. So you say you were an MP at the time of Thabo Mbeki's presidency. 1999 is when you then go from local government, from this rural place of Shwepi, a place that's rich in forestry, and you now pivot into becoming an MP. What was that like? I mean, those years. By the way, how many years were you an MP for?
From 1999 to 2009. So there's 2 terms, 10 years. And
so that was 2 terms of Thabo, and then
the Thabo had to resign. You remember?
Oh yes, a little
just
bit
before the
correct.
And then Zuma came in.
Yes.
And that's where it was.
Right.
During my parliamentary term, because I come from a rural background, the ANC deployed me to serve on agriculture and land affairs. And while there on that committee, I was, in fact, before I got to parliament, we campaigned for a law which they call ESTA, Extension of Security of Tenure Act, which basically. Because, as I said earlier, to say the farmers were busy evicting people on a whim. If he felt, look, I don't want Mr. Mandon settle on my farm, tomorrow morning he comes with his tractor, bulldozes the home, drops him on Mandela's store. And so then we eventually campaigned for this law, which we call ESTA. And ESTA, it gives protection to the residents on the farm. To say, and both ways. If the farmer's got a problem with somebody, he's got this thing to take the person to court. Let the court decide whether the person should be evicted or not. So it gave protection to them both. And in Parliament, we polished up on that law, to give it more teeth and to give more. Because I mean, you're talking of the poorest of the poor, people that lived, in back in the apartheid days, there was a thing they called PLAS, where you didn't get a salary. You worked for the farmer just for the for the right to live on the farm. So you're not paid a salary at the end of the month. They give you a bag of meal. They give you 1,000 square meters. Say, look, you plant here and you live. That's what you live from. But the rest, Monday to Saturday, you work for me. Sunday is your day to work on your own place. When planting season comes, I will give you my tractor to plow, and you organize your seed, and that's how you live. So, I mean, we're talking of poorest of the poor. And Alhamdulillah, I was involved in defending those people. And I'm proud to say I did it.
Yeah, and I mean, if you take today, the topic today is still around land rights, right? Everyone, I mean, what is the EFF fighting for is as well, right? Is around land. And I mean, this is, you gave dignity to the poorest of the poor. Yeah, so that must have been quite an interesting journey working with various, I mean, at that time, the parliament also was a very different place.
So
right?
it was a dignified place.
Yes.
We served with people like Amar Katrala, Lalu Chiba, Yusuf Dindar, then, Mdallana has passed away now.
Yes. He was the ex-minister of Labour, right? Yes.
Then our Naledi Pando. I had the honor of serving with all these people. And Alhamdulillah, like I say, Allah loves me. It was a good, kind experience for me. And then I, in fact, went on Hajj with the royal family, Saudi royal family. They invited us. And before I went, all MPs, members of parliament like Ismail Wadi,
right,
Muhammad Baba, they were accompanied by their wives. So the Saudis invited husband and wife, his couple, to come on Hajj. Okay? Unfortunately, or fortunately, the year I went, the Saudis decided, no, it's only for members of parliament. So unfortunately, I had to leave behind.
right.
And Allah knows best.
So that was your first Hajj?
My first Hajj with the Saudi royal family.
What year was that?
2007.
2007.
Okay, so that was
and
just before Thabo got.
Before he got.
When he was.
Anyway, I went with them with Hajj, but deep down, I mean, I didn't regard it as Hajj because I was distanced from the I mean, ihram is 2 pieces of cloth. And you are equal to everybody else. Whether you black, pink, white, it doesn't matter. And you are on pilgrimage as, I mean, you're the lowest of the low. And here I'm flying around in your helicopter, living in the palaces. You know what I mean?
So I recall, so that's 2007. Yeah, my late dad and mom, and my mom alive still, they recall a story that you had then come to their camp. You found out that they were there. And you said you just wanted to be with the people because this was a royal Hajj and you weren't experiencing.
Yeah, just to experience a little bit of that. I went and joined the South African camp to be with them. But obviously, due to protocols, I had to return back to the building. I was not even living in a tent, I was living in a building. I mean, in fact, I did my pelting from Kumbi. under the Jamarat, there's a road. I was sat in the Kumbi and I pelted.
Oh, is it?
So, I mean, there was no actual, feeling and significance to it. But anyway, when I got home, that's where the war started.
Right.
Because Ruwaida.
And by that time, you had not done any Hajj, no?
No
Hajj.
Wow, what a story,
in our home, she's the holy one.
Right.
Alhamdulillah, she brought me on the right path.
Right.
Okay? So we got home, there was this war. So I need, you went, you're not going to take me. So I had to make a plan.
Yeah.
In 2009, I was no more deployed. So then in 2010, I told her, look, let's go on Hajj. I take you. And fortunately, the year I registered with Saudi, I got accredited. It means the queue was not that long.
Yes.
I mean, all Allah's work.
Yeah, sometimes you can wait 2-3 years.
No, the current waiting period is now almost 8 years.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, but you have to take into account that COVID caused that 2-year gap. Yes, the backlog.
All right, so you had applied and you got...
and I got accredited.
Right.
So I decided, okay, now you must remember, this was 2009. I was no more deployed in Parliament.
Yeah.
I'm no more getting a salary.
Yes.
I'm waiting for my pension to kick in so that I can live.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So I had, as politicians, we're different from the normal. We can access our pension at the age of 50.
Right.
Not like normal people at 60, 65. So I could access my pension. But now Hajj was in April, May?
No, around October.
No.
October?
Okay.
Yes.
And but obviously I had to pay in February, March already. You know what I mean? And I had to borrow money from her sister to be able to go on Hajj. And then obviously as a man, I looked at the finances and I said, you know what, let's go with this Khidmtaul Awaam. Very reasonable.
By that time, Khidmtaul Awaam was in its...
I think they formed in 2008. So it was the 3rd year of operating.
Right.
Okay? And I looked at all the other operators, and there's a friend of mine by the name of Fly.
Yeah, I know, Ridwan Dindar.
He told me, no, let's go with there was another operator we were supposed to go with. Then he changed his mind and told me, no, let's go with Khidmtaul Awaam. Okay? Because I've heard a lot about them. And then he mentioned the name of Dadabai. Muhammad Dadabai.
Right.
And he is still one of our, he's my Amir actually. I look up to him because he's got a lot of years in experience in Hajj. And wherever we need advice, we look up. Soft-spoken, never gets angry, and alhamdulillah. So then when he told me of the name of Dadabai, I said, no, we're going with them. But when I got home, the problem started.
Is it so?
She looked at the price.
Yeah.
33,000. The rest of the operators, my sisters went on Hajj with another operator, they paid 70,000. You want to take me on Hajj for 33,000?
Yeah.
That's for tickets and everything, plus Aqsa. You're taking me on a very cheap Hajj.
Or you were
And her
concerned.
sisters and my sister, my late sister Mashuda.
Yeah.
Allah grant her Jannatul
Ameen,
Firdaus.
Ya Rabbi.
You know her well.
Yes, of course.
She also put it in, because she's very wealthy.
Yeah.
Put it in her head, no, this OSTG is taking you on a cheap.
Yeah.
Anyway, I used to smoke cigarettes those
Yeah.
days. I went outside, smoking a cigarette. I told you, Allah loves me. He put it in my head. Go tell her you're taking her mother with.
Yeah.
Wallah, when I told that, the whole story told, we went with him. Okay?
So you went with your mother-in-law?
Yes.
With my mother-in-law.
Allahu Akbar.
And the three of us, we paid 100,000. And that's 2010. Anyway, that's my story. Let her start with her story.
Yes. So you go for the Hajj. It was a beautiful experience.
So, Yusuf,
This is your first Hajj.
my first Hajj, right? But obviously apprehension, because I did do Umrah, but many years ago. So it was probably almost 21 years after Umrah that I'm going. And then I was taking my mommy. So I had the added responsibility because my mommy wasn't in the best of health. And in fact, after she did the Hajj, 2010 we did this Hajj. In 2013 she got very ill before I left, but she asked me to go on that time I went as a mission worker. And in 2014, whilst I was on Hajj, finishing my 5 days of Hajj, my mom passed away. So I was in the kingdom while
2014.
Yes, and she passed away here. But alhamdulillah, I had the honor of taking her and serving her because Zunaid pushed her in a wheelchair. I looked after her and we facilitated and enabled her Hajj. You know, she was somebody who thought that she'd never make Hajj. And the fact that we could fit my mommy into our budget with Khidmtaul Awaam, it enabled us to
So I'm
take
going
her.
My brother-in-law also helped.
Okay, we come to the end of this segment. Beautiful story. I mean, wow. When we come back from the break, I want to understand then how you joined Khidmtaul Awaam.
Okay.
And I mean, for somebody that's never done Hajj, I'd like to find out, just before we go to break, how many Hajjs have you done so far?
Mine is 11 and Zunaid's is 12.
Wow, so you have the extra one when you did the...
Correct.
Right. Okay, after the break, we'll hear all about the story of Khidmtaul Awaam and Ruwaida's journey with Khidmtaul Awaam. Welcome back to Inspirate Business, where we're hearing this wonderful story of Ruwaida, Kotwal, and Zunaid. Around Zunaid being an ex-MP and Ruwaida being the Munadhim, I learned this new word, Munadhim of Khidmtaul Awaam, Hajj operator. Now, you guys were talking just before the break around your Hajj experience. You took your mother-in-law, Allah grant her Jannah. You said she passed away in 2014. So you do your first Hajj in
2010.
2010. So the year after you went, right? You went.
I went in 2007.
2007. You go 2009, right? Then how do you you went as a normal Haji with
Correct.
Khidmtaul Awaam. You have a great experience for somebody that thought that you were going to get a cheap Hajj. You got one of the best experiences.
You know,
Tell us about it.
I want to make a point about that.
Yeah.
So the topic of Hajj was so contentious in my house from 2007 till 2010. That's why he took the liberty of registering me himself and making sure he does the processes that were needed in order for us to get accredited. And then my apprehension was, what kind of a Hajj am I going to have going with Khidmtaul Awaam? And when he went as a diplomat, the Saudis put him up in the hotel called Darul Taqwa. You know, it's right on the doorstep of the Haram in Medina. And Khidmtaul Awaam gave us accommodation in that very same hotel. So by divine intervention, I believe Allah Ta'ala gave me that Hajj. And obviously, with the diplomatic Hajj, it's only a 10-day Hajj. This of me not going, in hindsight, I believe, was something that Allah had destined for us. Because it was because of that 7 weeks and the beautiful Hajj Khidmtaul Awaam gave me that we decided on journey, because we did 6 weeks Hajj and then an additional week with Aqsa. And we returned home. So we did 3 harams. Whilst we were on the Hajj, we decided, you know what, this organization, their aims, their objectives are aligned to what we stood for, serving humanity, serving the community. Because that's where Zunaid started as an MP, and that's where I fell in as secretary of his branch. And then obviously with him then deciding to retire in 2009 from politics, we found ourselves shorting something, having only one child and he was at university qualifying. We thought we needed something to fulfill us. I have to mention, Yusuf, that even though we have sleepless nights, we eat very seldom when we are on mission. But the sense, the fulfillment that we receive out of doing this job, of serving, you know, at the end of the day, when we greet our Hujjaj that are returning to South Africa, and you just say thank you, to say, you know, you enabled my Hajj, is enough to want you to come back for another 10 more Hajjas. Every year, when I have all these conflicts and all the arguments and the logistics, and you know that's normal with Hajj, then I want to pull my hair out and say, you know, I'm not doing it again. But when you come back, you're waiting to go back. That is how.
So you started when? When did you start?
So in 2011. Once
so the
we
year,
made it, we became active volunteers of Khidmtaul Awaam.
So you started off as volunteers?
As volunteers. Full-time
so
volunteers.
What does that mean? What does a volunteer mean? It means what you pay for your own trip and all of that?
So being a volunteer, if you get selected to go on the mission, then obviously you pay for your ticket and your the other costs are borne by the organization.
Okay, so your accommodation and all of that is covered.
Yes, and they give you a stipend and your meals and whatever, and your accommodation, it's borne by the
organization. And how many volunteers does Khidmtaul Awaam take?
So remember that we're an organization that is run throughout South Africa. We have an office based in Cape Town, Johannesburg. Now with me being in Pretoria, it's in Pretoria and Durban. And that's broken up into a volunteer. The volunteers are ex-Hujjaj who basically back up the office. So you have your office staff running the offices, and then these are backup staff that come in solely, like, you know, to see Hujjaj off when they're leaving at the airport, when there are road shows, when there are functions, open days, they come there as support staff. Basically, that is what is a volunteer.
So I recall this last Hajj, for example, you mentioned Ridwan Fly. He came as a volunteer. He was with you guys for the most of the time, and then he didn't do the actual Hajj. He returned back, but he helped with taking people through and bring them. So the people have different functions as volunteers, is what you say.
Right.
Some don't go on the Hajj. They just do the groundwork here.
Yes.
All right. So you started as a volunteer from 2011.
Yes.
And you volunteered, but now you operate as an official administrator, or you run as a munadhim, right? You operate as an employee of Khidmtaul Awaam.
So what the transformation happened like this. Active volunteer up until 2013, where then I fell into the logistics of Hajj, and so then I was selected to be part of the mission to go up to the kingdom. And then obviously Khidmtaul Awaam then asked me to join them on a permanent basis.
Right.
So then this is what I did. I started working full time as an employee for them, based in Cape Town. At the time I was still living in Cape Town, and then into a management position to run the regional offices. And then I stepped into the role of Munadim post-COVID. So because of the knowledge of the logistics and the administration that falls in with the Hajj and how it operates in the kingdom. So you must remember, it's a continuation. From South Africa, we start the groundwork, and then it moves over into the kingdom, where this process has to continue. The arrival of the Hujjaj is determined here by booking the flights, but obviously you need to schedule it there on that time. So basically it fell into place. It's a sequence of events and processes that comes in via ministry regulations, and then obviously comes down to us via Sahuk. And this is how we operate within a framework of rules and regulations that are set out for Hajj.
So you do all of the groundwork, the back end work, you the engine room.
Together with my staff. Yes. We have very, very dedicated, committed staff and volunteers. And obviously, Khidmtaul Awaam is an organization that is run by a Shura board. So there's 14 members that make up directors and members who run the organization. So they do all the decision making. So they play an active role in the background, obviously, and then it's a cycle. It trickles down then to the office and the administration, and then to our volunteers. So it's basically all teamwork. It all works hand in hand.
So Hajj is what, like how many months away now? We're talking of like it's like normally 2 months after Ramadan, right? After Eid, right? So how many months are we away from Ramadan now? About 2-3 months.
Well, Ramadan is going to be March this year, March into April.
Right. So you're talking of what, like another, say about 5 months away, right? You already start the work now.
Exactly.
For all of that.
So whilst we are talking now, we are on the cusp of accreditation that is going to be released on Friday. That means all potential Hujjaj that will accept their accreditation to make up that quota of 2,500 that has been given to South Africa.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, yeah. Their names will come out via a list that Sahuk accredits, and then these Hujjaj will then be actively engaging accredited operators. An accredited operator is an operator that applies to Sahuk to service Hujjaj, and obviously once you meet their criteria and you qualify, they give you an accreditation. So currently there are 4 operators accredited to service Hujjaj this year, and then we take out packages, and then these Hujjaj then obviously, like I said, actively engage us, because they've got now choices to make. They have to look at a time frame that is suitable to them, obviously finance their budgets, and these are in the packages that we take out. And then obviously they look at your history of service that you provide, and they do their homework and then decide who they're going to select as the operator of choice, and we take it from there. So once there is a deadline, there's a cut-off period for that. So that's what I'm saying. The list will come out on Wednesday. By the time we reach the 2,500, we're somewhere in January. Right? And then the other processes that come in, like issuing of the visas, sorting out all the paperwork, the insurances for these Hujjaj, the traveling, the flights, the accommodation, the contracting with the ministry, with the hoteliers, all of that falls into place, and everything is being done within a framework of time. There's deadlines, timelines, deadlines.
So you had to have organized all that back end stuff in terms of the flights and the the hotels and what packages. I guess there's different packages as well, right?
That's right.
I mean,
that's right. So that extend from a 6-week package right up to a 2-week, and then we give people choices because, like I said, a Haji has to decide pending what suits his pocket and his time frame. You understand? And he decides.
So we come to the end of this segment. What I want to do in the last segment is for a potential Haji who wants to embark on 2025 Hajj. What are the options available from Khidmtaul Awaam? And also, like you were talking about the process, what would that, what did that process be?
What they should look out for.
Exactly. So also what you're offering, right?
Okay.
Immediately after the break. Welcome to Inspirate Business, where we, with this very beautiful couple, what a beautiful story, inside and out, of Zunaid Kotwal and his wife, Ruwaida Kotwal. Ruwaida is the Munadhim for Khidmtaul Awaam. What you call, in English, the Munadhim would be the
head of mission.
Head of mission. And she does all the back-end work for Khidmtaul Awaam, this Hajj operator. Now we get in, you said on Friday, it opens up. Wednesday it opens up.
Yes.
Where now people that want to go for Hajj 2025 would apply. And they would get a credit. How long would it take for your accreditation to be like sort of accredited?
Let us backtrack, Yusuf. Sahuk is at the moment accrediting the list of Hujjaj. That 2,500 are coming from Hujjaj that registered back in 2016.
Okay, so there's backlogs. Yeah, all right, okay.
So currently we're looking at an 8-year backlog. Okay. So they're starting because the list finished off in 2016, last Hajj, and this coming Hajj are then a continuation from 2016 into 2017.
Right.
So this is where your quota will be filled from that 2,500.
Okay, but now I may be accredited, and I need to now make a choice. And what period do I have to now confirm that I'm going and which operator I would like to go with? I guess there is a timeline to that, right?
That's correct.
So what is that timeline?
So currently, Sahuk has indicated that Hujjaj have 7-day window period to decide if they're going to accept that accreditation. If not, they have the choice to go and defer. That means for the following year. Or in some instances, if the person has already been deceased, so then you have to cancel that person. And so that is the process. And then a further 7 days to select the operator of choice.
Right.
So if he accepts the operator is the first step. The second one is he must make a decision who he's going to travel with.
All right. So by when will I know that I'm accredited is the first question. Like say if I was on the backlog.
So Wednesday is when that list comes out.
That list will come out as to
this Wednesday coming.
Okay. And then thereafter, I've got like a 14-day
period.
It. So window period now, and there's 4 operators, you say, that have been sort of part of Sahuk, where you have a choice of 4 operators.
That's it.
Right.
Correct.
Khidmtaul Awaam being one.
Correct.
Right. Now, all operators get the same number of people that they can take, or is it different of the 2,500?
So you know what, Yusuf, the dynamics of Hajj has shifted and changed so drastically in the last 2 years. Initially, an operator needed 50 pilgrims to qualify as a trading operator. Last year, unfortunately, the number was lifted to 100, that you had to make 100, or rather 100 Hujjaj had to select you in order for you to operate. This year, the number shot from 100 to 500. So you've got to make the 500 number to be trading as an operator. Now I have to mention, alhamdulillah, Khidmtaul Awaam, since its inception, have safely taken well over 500 every year. In fact, 2
So
years.
500 is a minimum, right?
Minimum,
yeah.
yes.
Okay.
So we've taken way over that number in the past years. We had taken over 1,100 in 2018 and in 2023 over 1,100. So we are very capable in terms of looking after, handling, moving, doing the admin and logistics for that 500 and much more.
Now that's actually very important, because if you're a niched operator and you've been taking 50, 100, I know back in the day you had niched operators like
Yes.
that. That's okay, because you can handle personal service,
Yes.
but it becomes a bit more logistically challenging
Correct.
when you have to take 1,000 people, and you have to have that capacity to be able to handle that.
Yes, but not well, not for Khidmtaul Awaam, because now we've already got the experience that goes with it. I'm not exactly sure how the other operators plan to handle it. Some of them have formed consortiums, and others are then flying solo. They've decided to apply as individual operators. But inshallah, like I'm saying, I can safely say that with conviction that we can handle our 500 and much more, because we've done it previously.
Look, you guys have got the experience. I mean,
That's right.
what they say, when you have the 10,000 hours, then you become the expert. So
Yes.
you have the expertise to be able, and the experience to be able to handle these numbers. Okay, so now within a 2-week period, you'll be starting to get all the people making the choice to join Khidmtaul Awaam. Now,
Inshallah.
what do you offer us, me wanting to go for Hajj 2025? What are the packages that you offer?
So our packages currently range from 6 weeks. So within the 6 weeks, it offers different nights in Makkah and Medina. So it's a combination of the nights that you'll spend in Makkah versus Medina, and that would also then change the pricing factor. You understand?
Correct, yeah.
So within 6 weeks, we will give you choices. Then we're offering 5 weeks, 4 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 weeks, and all these packages have the bonus of us doing the Aqsa add-on. So with these packages, if you're choosing that you want to add Aqsa on there, then you can choose Aqsa.
Aqsa happens after the...
Aqsa we do after Hajj.
Okay. And,
yes, so, and that is a 5-day stay. Then you visit Amman for a day and 4 days in Jerusalem.
All right. So, of course, obviously, the pricing is all dependent on what
you select
period
and your time period.
you take it. Sorry, you were saying?
I think Ruwaida should expand on and also to say, what should Hujjaj look out for?
Yeah,
There's certain things like number of nights, proximity to the Haram.
I was about to come to that.
I think
yeah.
she should mention
So
that.
I guess those are because that becomes a big issue now, right? I've heard that sometimes you can have a very good hotel, but it's maybe a little bit of a distance from the Haram. Then it maybe for the aged, it's a bit more difficult, etc.
Yeah, so basically our advice to Hujjaj is that when you are looking at a package, you compare apples with apples. So when I say that, I mean you need to look at the inclusions and the exclusions, what this whole package is made up of. And that is, as Zunaid correctly pointed out, the number of nights that you are receiving in Medina and Makkah, and then obviously all packages are moving packages. They go to Azizia because Azizia is on the doorstep of Mina. It makes the commute between Mina and Azizia very easy during the days of Hajj.
How many days before the Hajj do you move to
So these can range from 10 days prior to 5 days prior to 7 days, depending on the package that you select. Yes. Okay. So this is what makes up the packages, and obviously that influences the price that you're going to pay. You see.
And do they still have? I know when I went in 2014, you have at the 5 days of Hajj, you have different options. You have like the
special services and non-special services.
Is that still?
It's still a choice where you take the normal Camp D. It's called Camp D, and that's the non-special services versus the special services. But the price of that special services is gone so exorbitant. So it's basically for a market, elite, exclusive market that can select that.
Now I know Khidmtaul Awaam. I know I've been privy to its inception a while back. It was always positioned as the Hajj for the affordable Hajj, where when Hajj was already starting it many years back when people already seen it. I mean, the founders of Khidmtaul Awaam seen that Hajj was becoming very unaffordable. Became, as you said, maybe even exclusive for the affluent.
Yes.
And they said, but we need to make Khidmtaul Awaam, or we had to create an operator that was allowed for those that maybe can't afford, right? People that save their entire lives just for this only trip that they'll ever do internationally, Hajj. Is it still positioned as that, Khidmtaul Awaam?
That is the very essence of this organization, and this is what, if you recall, I said earlier, it aligned with our aims and objectives of serving. Zunaid said he started there because he served the poorest of the poor, and the aim and objective of this organization, registered as a non-profit company, is that we give it at a price that we can make it affordable to those that have to save their entire life. You know, the people that have to really go and sell cook sisters and in the flea market and save that extra money to go on Hajj. Because, I mean, Hajj has become extremely, extremely expensive. The costs that have come through from the ministry, post-COVID, that doubled overnight. So, I mean, essentially, you know, we work on a very minimal markup, obviously, for overheads, but we try to keep it within a pricing that people can still afford.
Okay, we're coming to the close of the show. I mean, it's been what a journey. Maybe some parting words, Zunaid, from your side to the viewers. We now entering. You said Wednesday is when we actually now. It's all opened up. So people have to make decisions now, already start planning. Maybe some through your experiences as well, going for Hajj.
Look, the main thing is people must decide with who they want to go. And there's certain things, like Ruwaida said, they should look out for a number of days, proximity of hotels, the operator. I mean, Khidmtaul Awaam has been the largest operator since inception. And we used to handling routes, unlike Maaf to say, other niche operators that are now actually having to merge, and how they're going to look after the Hujjaj, Allah knows. But we as a team, we've got a good team in place, we've got experienced people in place, and inshallah, Hajj, Hujjaj, it must be a memorable expect.
You'll be going as well for Hajj 2025?
I'm a Samkom.
Yeah.
I'm her mahram. She's the Munajjim, so she can't go without me.
Okay.
So, alhamdulillah.
You've been so, as you say, Allah is so loves you so much that now you're going to be going on your, inshallah, 12th Hajj.
And we bend over backwards for the Hujjaj, seriously.
Yes. Yeah.
And like I say, our Khadims, we pay our way. So we've got a committed team of people that love the Hujjaj. And
they come there for the love of Allah and to serve. To serve. I think that's what comes out so strongly. And I think the key message, basically through your work that you did as MPs, to serving just the community around you, to the work that you're doing now for the Hujjaj, is just to serve those that are underprivileged, but just to serve our Ummah. And I think that is what comes out so strongly. And you say Allah loves you. Allah loves those that loves His people. Some just few parting words. We've got a couple of seconds.
Yeah, to the Hujjaj that are going to be accredited on Wednesday, we wish them the best of luck. May Allah make their decision easy, and may they choose wisely. We at Khidmtaul Awaam, with open arms, we welcome you to engage us. And alhamdulillah, we've always been committed to serving our Hujjaj to the best of our ability, and we hope to do that. If you so choose us, inshallah, we are there to serve you as the guest of Allah.
And those powerful words, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.